Alrighty guys, I'm just here with a bit of nostalgia. This was my grandparents' house in Denton, and I remember like being here as a little kid, tiny little kid. Stayed here so many times, and this is the Murdochs over here. They're still there, but all this here used to be oranges as far as the eye could see. Obviously it's all grapes now. I remember that little church there. We used to go up, and just at the back there is the footy oval, and I used to walk up there. Oh, it used to seem so far away when you're a little kid, but it's close, it's just here. And wow, just amazing. So I'm going to head into town and get something to eat because I'm starving, and then we'll head on to Wentworth. Alrighty guys, we've just arrived in Curlwa, which is between Denton and Wentworth. And here's our first look at the mighty Murray River. Have a look at this big girl here. Bit bigger than the Darling. Check it out. There she is. There's a nice old bridge up there. But we're heading downstream this way. Then we're going to go and find where the Darling hits the Murray. Converges with the Murray. Righto, coming into Wentworth, guys. This is Tucker's Creek. And that looks like where it flows into the Murray right there. Pretty cool. Go, you can see left to Wentworth Broken Hill, and that way back to Pooncarie and whatnot. So let's go and have a look at gorgeous little Wentworth. Actually no, this is the Darling River here. Alright, this is the Darling. Look how wide it is down here compared to where we've come from. Righto guys, here's where the rivers converge. So here comes the Murray here, and the Darling down here, right where we are. You can see the different colours of the different waters. Milky and the Murray. So you can see the line of the different colours around here. So over the back there, that's the Murray. It disappears up behind there. And here's the Darling coming in right here to meet the Murray right there. Fantastic. Alright, so they've put a gorgeous platform, viewing platform in. So there's the park. If we go out, there we go. Here's the two rivers, the Murray and the Darling. So absolutely very special spot indeed. There we go, and by about there, this Darling water is sort of merging with the Murray, and off it goes down to South Australia. Wonderful. Big old gum there. So there we have it. And some black swans. Aren't you guys meant to be in WA? These river red gums were planted on the 20th of July 1989 by the Prime Minister of Australia, Bob Hawke, his wife Hazel, Premier New South Wales Nick Greiner, Premier Victoria John Cain, Premier South Australia John Bannon, and others to launch the Greening Australia's 1 Billion Trees campaign. So there we go. Planted in 1989. Pretty cool. Righto, sorry about this wind, but we're at the Weir and Lock 10 in Wentworth. I'll try and get a better look, but here's the old flood levels here. 2011 at the 2011 at the bottom, 2016 92, 1990 81, 74, 31, 22 was a big one. Remember at Louth they had that painted on the trees in 22 on the Darling, and way up here is 56. So try and give you an idea. Way up there. At 56. That was a big one of the biggest, because that's when the Murray and the Darling both flooded, and there was a heap of rain in Queensland, and it just sent all this water down, and it just couldn't cope, and that was in 56. So there we go, lovely shot heading down the Murray there. Righto, it's probably the best view we're going to get of it. That's obviously the weir there, and then there's the lock system to let boats through. This one's fairly small. There's a massive one, big lock, Lock 11 at Mildura. Huge lock complex. I'll show you that when we get there. This one's Lock 10 at Wentworth. Righto, so we're in Fotherby Park in Wentworth. Few little historic things. Have a look at this gorgeous little hut. Drop block construction. Was built as Wentworth's first courthouse in 1863, but it was moved here in 72 to enhance its preservation. Just gorgeous, have a look at it. Cool. And then we've got some funky old machinery in here. Wool press manufactured by Ronaldson Tippett, Ballarat in 1900. The bullock yoke, remember that, with the wooden wheels we saw at the wool shed at Mungo? No, at Menindee. At the Kinchiga National Park. Blacksmith's forge. Oh, crank dozer here. Not a dozer, but something. And a whole bunch of other stuff. Chaff cutter. You ever heard someone use the term, that engine sounds like a chaff cutter? Well, that's this thing here when it gets cranking, it's very noisy. And then another big old contraption here, the Demon. The Demon. Bought to Renmark by the Chaffee brothers. I remember those from growing up. They were irrigators, I believe, in Mildura. Yes, it was used for pumping water for 30 years. Wow. Pretty cool. Again, same as the one we saw in Kinchiga. Amazing. And here we've got the old paddle steamer, the Ruby. Have a look at this old girl. Vessel was built in Morgan, South Australia in 1907. Went between Morgan and Swanhill. That sign could be better. Read it in behind there. Built 1907. So there she is, the old Ruby. And you can see the wood on the deck there, the pile of wood. That's from what they used to stop and pick up all along the Darling. I guess the Murray too. To power the boilers. My great grandfather used to cut that wood for a living. So pretty cool. There we go, paddle steamer Ruby. So there's the park. So remember, I promised you way back at Rosole Station between Burke and Louth, I was going to tell you the story of old Possum. Well, as promised, here he is. Here's Possum. There he is. Oh mate. That's Possum. So, the Possum. Can't read that. David James Jones, 1901 to 1982. A will-o'-the-wisp nomadic recluse who lived for 54 years in the bushland, downstream of Wentworth. To hear a recorded life story of the possum, please insert 20 cents into the slot. There's no slot. There you go. There's old Possum right there. So this is just behind the park. Now, was this Tucker's Creek that we crossed? And I thought it was the Darling. And then it goes into the Darling here. So yeah, this is just a creek. And look at all these guys just hanging out over there. And there we go. Alrighty guys, we're in the Pioneer Museum at Wentworth. So have a look, what do we got here? See, these guys all used to live out near Mungo, where we've just come from. Well, the size of him is huge. And this big old guy, remember he was in Mungo. And remember we saw the skeleton of him at Mungo, the wombat. This big flat-nosed kangaroo. And a bit of a tigery looking thing there. Like a leopard, marsupial lion. Yes. Alright, so let's have a look around. Beautiful, huge mural of Wentworth there. Fantastic. Here's something interesting. River red gum that's actually grown around a black box stump. The story says the Forestry Commission downstream of the loch cut down this river red gum. When the top of the tree fell, it revealed a black box tree stump which had been enveloped completely by the gum. The box tree had been cut by a very sharp metal axe. Notice the cuts in the face of the stump. Here, the gum tree was calculated to be 200 years old. This put the cutting of the old box tree at around 1770. Captain Charles Sturt was reputedly the first white man to cross this area, and he didn't arrive here until January 1830. The Aboriginal people used stone axes and only used the bark from the red gum for their canoes and shelters. They did not cut down trees, and the trees weren't ring-barked, so remained alive and can still be seen near Loch 10. So, who was a European person who was here in 1770 to cut that? Very interesting. This is the top of the stump. And there's the moulding. That in there. Very interesting. Really cool story.
More than an hour. 72, please. I have to report a theft.
Oh, that's no good. Please hold. I'll put you through.
The whole switchboard.
Constable Dwyer here.
Manual telephone exchange.
Thank you.
Oh, fun. There's the old wool press. Made in Geelong, that one. So there's lots of cool old stuff here. Look at that massive canoe up there, or whatever it is. It's huge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Oh, military stuff. Oh, gems and stuff, minerals. Oh, here we go. This is what I want to see. The indigenous artifacts. Here's all the grinding stones. Stuff in there. There's a few things here. Carved emu eggs. I've actually got one of those at home. Carved emu egg. Look at these fabulous paintings on bark. So he's found in Muttaburra and Lightning Ridge, this big guy. So here's an interesting stump. Box tree. So that was a bird nest, and they were in there, nesting in there. And the Aborigines used their stone axes to cut into here to get to the birds. Or the eggs, who knows? Fabulous. Well, that was the museum, and across the road is the old Wentworth jail here. I'm not going to go in there, but that's it. Righto guys, we are heading over the Abbotsford Bridge near Wentworth, Mighty Murray. Another lift bridge, same as in Wilcannia. So we've now left New South Wales and welcome to Victoria, or as I like to call it, Draconia, after their behaviour during COVID, which was disgraceful. So here we are, we're in Victoria, on our way to Mildura.